Welcome back to my channel. This is Dynamic FX. It's been quite a while. Happy New Year. Shout out to my 100 subscribers. Thank you for giving me uh, that have 100 subscribers. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's been quite a while. I can't even remember the last time I actually posted a video on YouTube. And well, my usual excuse has always just been the fact that wanted to give myself more to research and get a better understanding of how the market works. Okay, that being said, welcome back. But before I plan to just give you a brief of what the market sentiments are since my last video, and I'm going to make sure that this comes in every week so you just get an idea of what the market sentiment is. Um, well, I'm still doing a lot of research around it still. I'm looking for a better, much more simple way to be able to present it on the website. Of course, for some of you, this is where the website is. You can go to our website on tradevarsity.com/COT analysis. That has been embedded there. So you can just fiddle around with it for the meantime. But um, so but so far so good. Been able to at least organize data and analyze data in a much more simpler way. And for if you're just hearing about this for the first time, I'm actually talking about the report that is generated from the CFTC website, where they report the activities and transaction of key players in the market. So some of you may have seen that video. So if you have not seen that video on um, sentiment analysis that I did, introduction to COT reports, please just pause and watch that video, because if you have not watched that video, a lot of what I'm going to be saying may not make sense to you. So what I've decided to do is to just kind of focus on a particular group of traders. So that will just maybe help us. Well, over time, I've come to kind of appreciate the reports that uh, is being categorized as the asset managers under the COT report. This is more of the disaggregated report. I'll do more of the videos later, but it's still very pretty much the same thing. So what I've done on this platform uh, is to use the bars, these bar charts, to represent the net positions of these asset managers, right? Net position meaning the difference between the long positions and the short position. When there's a positive variance, or when there's a positive, the difference between these two. If we have a positive, uh, if we have a positive number, then it means that the sentiment is actually bullish. If we have a negative number, you would see the bar below the zero line, and that actually means that they're net short in terms of sentiment analysis. Okay, so I'm not saying that my site is the best source for sentiment analysis. There are other sites, like I mentioned in previous video, that you could go to get this information. So, but this is what I work with. This is how I view the market before I trade. You can see that I have various asset classes here. I have the sentiment report for Bitcoin, for Australian dollar, for Canadian dollar, the British pound, Japanese yen, euro. We have for Mexican peso, the New Zealand dollar, the Swiss franc, US dollar, and the South African rand. They are pretty much major currencies that are traded on any of the platforms. Okay, so since this is more of a forex platform, so um, So if we, the first one we want to start with obviously is Bitcoin. Let me see if I can come up with my drawing too. Okay, good. So you can see for Bitcoin, we already have more of a bearish sentiment. These asset managers are already pulling out their their uh, their investments from the Bitcoin, more like maybe this could be as a result of profit taking, because ever since then we've seen price just remain at the 50K level and refusing to go further. Although we've seen that also strong support to say, yeah, we've seen that strong support. If you come to the charts, let's see if I can pull up BTC here. Okay, yes, we've seen that strong support around the 48,000 level, and price has also remained above 50,000 level for the meantime. But the obviously, even from the sentiment, you can see that there's a lot of pressure to the downside if this continues, because we've had how many weeks straight? Uh, okay, yes. Look at this huge drop. Okay, look at this huge drop. Okay, and we've seen that in the past. What usually happens when those kind of huge drop is you see massive decline in prices, right? If you see from here down here, okay. So you can also see some recovery. So these guys pretty much track price pretty much track the activities of these asset managers. So that's that for Bitcoin. So maybe expecting a bearish outlook for Bitcoin. Okay, so I'm out here. So looking at the Australian dollar has had this very good run since last year. So yeah, it has had a very good run. You saw a very strong recovery in sentiments on this way. Let's see, yes, very strong sentiments. Sorry, let's get this tool right. Yep. So it was a strong recovery up to this point. So see how price followed the sentiment of the market here, and ever since that's remained flat at this level. And maybe looking at a, a market top, so an extreme level there. So we since then we sentiments have refused to make um, higher highs. So maybe we could be getting ready for a strong market reversal. We could see price drop back to the 0.70 level, even given the fact that last week we saw um, more sentiment in favor of the US dollar. So um, the although the sentiment is still looking bullish for the meantime, so we could see possibly could see the Australian dollar, okay, remain pretty much supported at this zone here. Okay, so somewhere here, this zone here could see a strong, because we've already seen a rejection here, or support, so that we like to call it. Okay, so we could be looking at low levels, maybe we reverse back to this level here. Um, yeah, it's possible, very possible. All right, but there's still a lot of up potential. So we could still see price maybe push high a little before maybe that particular drop, because technical indicators still show we still have a bullish trend. So also given the fact that here too we still have bullish. sentiments coming in. But like I said, just recall that we are not getting fresh highs in terms of the the positions that are coming in. Okay, let me see. The Canadian dollar is also something we want to be focusing on. We want to look at. If you look at the net positions for the asset managers, all right. So the way this is set is actually the inverse of the US Canadian dollar. So you have, um, so what you have here is the Canadian dollar CAD versus the US dollar. Okay, so what you're seeing is the sentiments of the Canadian dollar against the US dollar. So this is the price in black, right? So if you see the price, you can see that Canadian dollar has had a very good run since last year also. Okay, so we could also be getting ready for a major reversal. We have a swing opportunity here. What we're seeing is that we're not getting those highs in terms of sentiment. So see positions dropping significantly for the Canadian dollar. So the card also is still something you want to watch out for. Well, it's still in support of the general sentiment for the US dollar. So, all right, and that is it. Let's see which other currency I would want to look at. The okay, we can look at. Let's see. Let's see the British pound. Okay, British pound too has had a very good run um, since the COVID-19 period. We've seen a very strong recovery despite the Brexit conversation. So what we've seen is seeing price track the recovery here, 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 here. So don't forget, like I said, these bars are the general sentiment of the market. Okay, all these sentiments. So on this zone, like I said, it's net short. On this zone, it's net long. Okay, so we've been on the net long territory since January, between late December and January, uh, up till date, January 2021 till date. And what we also noticed that okay, we've not really made additional highs since for a while now. So it's also possible market is also about to turn. Maybe begin to see a shift in sentiment for the British pound. Also, okay. So let me take that. Okay, the Japanese yen. So we've already seen the sentiment of markets is really price is really tracking the sentiment of market in the Japanese yen against the US dollar. So yes, the way this is the price for the JPY USD. So it's inverse, it's the other way around. So as you can see, the price is dropping. The price is represented by this black line dropping very fast, meaning that the US dollar is gaining more strength than the Japanese yen, or the Japanese yen is weakening. And of course, you can see the reason that is the case because you can see the sentiment also declining since the last time it peaked in January. Okay, so this is a strong bearish confirmation for the Japanese yen. And there was something I saw in terms of the fundamentals that was very, very key for Japanese yen, understanding why the investors might be divesting from the Japanese yen. I think I noticed their debt to GDP ratio was already above 200% or more. which is like the highest amongst all the G8 pairs. Okay, well, that may signify a red flag, and their bond yields are already rising. They also have a bad credit rating in terms of their bond. So things may not be looking too good for the Japanese yen right now. So it may not even benefit from market sentiment for a safe haven. Okay, so moving ahead, we expect, okay, I think a similar scenario for the Mexican peso. Um, Let me see which one. Okay, so obvious here. You can see why we are seeing that new push in the US dollar. Okay, the sudden shift in sentiment here. So obvious. This was as at the last report. Okay, it has moved from a negative. We've seen that recovery from here up, and we've already entered that positive territory. It's possible we could see this run, that similar run we had in 2018, if we begin to get more sentiment coming into the market. Of course, the recent spike in government yields, bond yields in the market also could give more support to the dollar. So it's interesting to see this. So there's strong sentiment, market sentiment um, for the US dollar. So we could see that sustained in the weeks ahead or months ahead if we continue to see this similar investment or similar long positions being opened on the US dollar. Okay, by the asset managers. All right, good. That is very, very good. So across board, obviously, we expect a stronger US dollar. We expect a weak Japanese yen. Bitcoin is expected to fall based on market sentiments. It's just those things are just expectations. We also look at seeing a possible weakness in sentiment for the Swiss franc. All right, and that's just so. This has also been confirmed. You can see we've actually entered in a bearish sentiment for the Swiss franc. So what you're seeing here is CHF. Okay, CHF against the US dollar. Okay, so the price is inverse. So if you see this dropping, this means that the Swiss franc is weak and the dollar is strong. You see rising, yes, means that the Swiss franc is strong and the dollar is weak. So interesting what we're seeing here already. So we already have a bearish sentiment for the Swiss franc also. So when we put all this together, we would expect to see in the coming month of March a strong US dollar, obviously maybe supported by current fundamental events around the stimulus package, new government, okay, the vaccine expectations, okay. Um, so a lot of good things may be coming up for the dollar, which is steering the market sentiment in favor of the US dollar. We've seen that. We've also been able to conclude that maybe the Swiss franc maybe is expected to be weak, Japanese yen also. The British pound, uh, obviously, may have also reached its peak in terms of uh, um, its peak in terms of the number of contracts that are coming in, long contracts that are coming in for the British pound. But it's quite interesting to see what is even going on with the Canadian dollar. As some sort, it's as if we can see some sort of divergence here. You see, price still rising. It's so interesting to see this. Price is still rising. Meanwhile, market sentiment is dropping. This is a very wonderful insight. Well, So we want to see how that play. Don't forget also the correlation between the Canadian dollar and the crude oil market. So we've seen price and very high levels for Canadian in the crude oil market. So um, if the correlation between those two instruments to hold, we could still see this being sustained. So overall, the sentiment is still bullish on the Canadian dollar, but not as bullish as it used to be. So we should be mindful. So we could see a strong recovery in the Canadian USD Canadian dollar. All right. So that is it for me for now. In maybe subsequent video, this video was just basically about we just having an idea of where the market sentiment is. Um, so I didn't have time to touch on every other thing, but you could go to the website and just take a look at it yourself. Don't forget that the COT is not a timing tool; it's just a trend confirmation tool. So you still need to rely on very good technicals or technical indicators to be able to make an informed decision on when to enter. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. I hope to do more of these videos regularly. Okay, see if I could still check up on some of my currency option trading setups that I have. Let's see. Okay, I think we are fine. Ouch. 40. Okay, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that I get notified every time I post a new video. Okay, till next time, if you have any question, please feel free to uh, chat me up, right? Or send me an email and I'll be happy to assist with any of the information or knowledge I could share. All right, till next time.